The NASCAR playoff picture may have just changed before the 2026 season even starts, and fans already think they know which track is about to get pushed out. Because Watkins Glen International is officially heading back into the postseason in 2027, and now the real controversy begins, not about the Glen, about who loses their spot. Right now, one name is getting dragged into this conversation harder than anybody else: World Wide Technology Raceway. And honestly, there may be a reason for that. For years, NASCAR has treated the schedule like a giant experiment. Tracks move around, playoff dates change, road courses disappear, new venues show up. But this latest move feels different because it directly impacts the balance of the postseason. Watkins Glen confirmed this week that starting in 2027, its NASCAR weekend moves back to September, meaning it'll once again become part of the playoff schedule. That immediately raised one massive question: which current playoff race is getting removed? Because the chase only has 10 races, and there's no room to add Watkins Glen unless somebody gets cut. The timing here matters too. NASCAR tried the spring experiment with Watkins Glen in 2026, hoping to spread road courses more evenly across the calendar. On paper, it sounded smart. In reality, cold weather, mud, transport trailers getting stuck, fans freezing in the stands. That experiment lasted exactly one season. Now NASCAR is going back to what worked, and if we're being honest, Watkins Glen absolutely earned another playoff date. The last time it hosted a postseason race back in 2024, it created complete chaos. Chris Buescher threw a desperate overtime move at Shane Van Gisbergen in one of the wildest finishes NASCAR fans have seen in years. Playoff contenders were crashing, spinning, and completely scrambling the standings. Not one playoff driver finished inside the top 5 that day. Think about how insane that is. For more than 100 playoff races under this format, at least one title contender always ended up near the front. Watkins Glen shattered that pattern. That's exactly what NASCAR wants from playoff racing: unpredictability, pressure, and pure survival. Now compare that to the track fans believe is in danger: Gateway. The moment Watkins Glen announced its return, social media immediately started connecting the dots. Fans began pointing directly at Gateway's playoff race as the likely candidate to disappear. And there are multiple reasons why people believe that. First, the TB numbers. Gateway's playoff race reportedly pulled significantly lower ratings than Watkins Glen's previous postseason event. That's a problem NASCAR cannot ignore, especially in a television-driven business. Second, the racing product itself. Gateway is unique, but unique does not always mean exciting. The track's awkward 1.25-mile layout creates setup compromises that often reward track position more than aggressive racing. Drivers get stuck in traffic, passing becomes difficult, and instead of playoff chaos, races can become long strategy runs with limited movement at the front. That's not what fans expect in elimination season. The 2025 playoff race didn't exactly help its reputation either. Denny Hamlin basically controlled the event from the front, and once the race settled in, the drama never fully exploded. Compare that to Watkins Glen producing overtime madness and playoff destruction. The contrast is brutal. Then there's the weather issue. Late summer in St. Louis can be absolutely miserable for fans sitting in metal grandstands all afternoon. High heat, humidity, and long race weekends make attendance tougher than NASCAR wants to admit. Watkins Glen in September? That feels like playoff racing. Cool weather, packed hillsides, high stakes, road course pressure. The vibe alone fits the postseason better, and even drivers have hinted at concerns. Kyle Larson openly admitted flat tracks like Gateway have been a weakness for his team in the playoffs. That matters because NASCAR constantly evaluates whether tracks produce the kind of pressure moments that define championship runs. If drivers feel trapped instead of challenged, NASCAR notices. But here's where this conversation gets really interesting. Some fans think Gateway isn't the only track in danger. Bristol Motor Speedway keeps coming up too. For years, there's been debate about whether Bristol's famous night race belongs in the playoffs at all. A lot of longtime fans believe its natural place is still that late August regular season slot where it once felt like NASCAR's wildest summer party. If Watkins Glen takes a playoff date, suddenly Bristol's placement gets questioned again. And that creates a much bigger philosophical debate inside NASCAR. What should the playoffs actually look like? Should the postseason prioritize unpredictability unpredictability and entertainment, or should it focus on traditional intermediate tracks that supposedly reward consistency? Because right now, NASCAR seems caught between those two ideas. The Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval already got removed from the 2026 playoff schedule, meaning NASCAR had started drifting away from road courses in the postseason. Now, Watkins Glen comes storming back into the picture. So clearly, somebody inside NASCAR still believes one road course belongs in the chase. And honestly, they may be right. A playoff without variety starts feeling repetitive fast. The best postseason formats expose weaknesses. A true champion should survive super speedways, short tracks, intermediates, and road courses. Watkins Glen forces drivers out of their comfort zone. That matters. Now, here's the big question. Best case scenario for NASCAR? Watkins Glen returns, delivers another instant classic playoff race, and the postseason suddenly feels unpredictable again. Ratings improve. Fans buy into the chaos, and NASCAR finally finds a balanced playoff formula. Worst case scenario, they remove the wrong track. Fans revolt. Traditionalists get angry, and the schedule starts feeling over-engineered instead of organic. Because every time NASCAR changes the playoffs, somebody feels betrayed, and now Gateway fans are already bracing for impact. So here's the debate. If Watkins Glen is officially back in the playoffs, which track should lose its spot? Gateway? Bristol? Somebody else entirely? Drop your take in the comments, because NASCAR fans are about to argue about this one for the next year straight. And if you want more breaking NASCAR analysis and playoff drama, subscribe to SportsWire USA.